Hello, Knotfest folks. Cori Westbrook here with Alex from Undeath while they are on tour for the Slave to the Grave tour. We are having a good time down here, I hope. Anyway, we're going to be chatting for a little bit about some exciting freaking stuff because you guys have had an exciting freaking year.
Yeah, I would say so. We're chilling in the basement of Dante's in fabulous Portland, Oregon right now, right next to the laundry
fabulous
room.
Portland, Oregon.
Yes, definitely a pastoral, beautiful part of town. But we're chilling. The tour's been great. Just having a good time.
Yeah, and I'm going to just kick this off with like one of the most obvious things. Decibel Top 40. You are #1. Freaking congrats. How you feeling right now?
Feel amazing. I mean, it's something that I never really thought would happen to me or any band that I've ever been in. So the fact that it did happen, and it's not something I have to daydream about anymore, it's incredible. It truly is an indescribable feeling.
Well, you guys have earned it, and you're on like every album of the year list, rightfully freaking so, and anybody watching out there who hasn't written their album of the year list. Anyway, so you guys are kind of leading the charge on this new wave of old school death metal. How are you feeling about the health of the extreme metal scene? I am seeing it cross over more into the mainstream, bringing in new fans. How are you feeling about all of it?
I feel great. I think this tour is a perfect example of like where the scene is kind of at overall. I mean, we're out with 200 Stab Wounds. I mean, they're like right at the top of the pile of sick new death metal bands. Enforced is more like thrash metal than death metal, but I feel like they're compatriots of ours. They're all looking to do the same thing, accomplish the same things as we are. And then obviously Phobophilic, who's opening the tour, they're just like a great, solid new death metal band. And the friendship on this tour, everybody's very jovial. There's no attitudes. Everybody's kind of just having a good time. You'll probably inevitably see people walk in and out of the shop behind us because there's really no personal space on this tour, but it's just good. It's good vibes.
That sounds like a really fun time, and actually leads right into the next question. One thing that I'm noticing, and it is like my favorite thing in the industry right now, is that kind of the old traditionalism for, well, there's another term I can use, but I'll use this one, traditionalism of the death metal scene. It's kind of dying away. It used to be back in the day, if you weren't only into death metal, then you weren't welcome. But now I'm seeing death metal bands with hardcore bands, death metal bands with thrash bands. And especially with the death metal and hardcore crossover, it seems to be working so well. And one, what are your thoughts on that? And two, why do you think it's working so well for those two genres in particular?
Those are two excellent questions. I think that it works so well as a combination because I feel like, all the people, maybe not all, but I feel like a lot of the people that are starting death metal bands right now grew up listening to all different kinds of music. And speaking from a personal perspective, I mean, I grew up listening to hardcore, I grew up listening to punk, I grew up listening to that stuff just as much as I grew up listening to death metal and all different kinds of metal. And I feel like people like me who are starting death metal bands, in the past 3 or 4 years, all kind of had similar experiences where we were all just consuming as much music as possible via the internet. So it's just it's a very interesting little like micro phenomenon that's happening right now, but also just like hardcore, I think death metal is one of those subgenres that allows for a great deal of creative freedom. It allows for a lot of different ideas and perspectives to enter the music and create something new. And I think for that reason, those two genres, hardcore and death metal, can feed off of each other really well. And I never really understood why some metal purists out there have an issue with that. I don't know. I like, if hardcore kids want to get into music that has like crazy riffs and blast beats and shit, like, let them do it. There's really no issue that I can see.
And one other thing that I've noticed with those two genres in particular, both very angry, undeniable, but both also have the capacity to be very, very fun. And do you think that, because there was a long time there where death metal was just taking itself way too freaking seriously. You guys do not do that. You embrace the humor and the absurdity of it all, and I love it. I mean, your Doom music video, I love it.
I'm literally sitting here wearing a shirt that says I Heart Weed.
Do you think that bringing the humor back is allowing more of that crossover where everybody's just kind of like lightening up a bit?
Yeah, I mean, none of us are Rhodes scholars. Like, we're all just dudes people who like metal, who like this very ridiculous thing that we all share a common bond over. And Yeah, I mean, I think it's a very unpretentious time to be getting into metal, specifically death metal, and I think that's a great thing.
I think it's a great thing too. More people should listen to it. We need more death metal fans out there.
Yeah.
So just let it permeate, people. And so does that mean we'll see you at Sound and Fury next year?
If we get the offer, I would love. I would certainly love to do that, but it depends.
Oh, that would be a boss show. Well, I know that we are taking up this entire freaking room, so I don't want to keep you too horribly long, but I do have to ask you at least one off-the-wall but extremely important question. Because again, just like the dinosaur question, and for those of you who haven't read the last interview, go find out what Alex's favorite dinosaur is by visiting knotfest.com. But here, for you watching, if you had to choose, do you want to survive an alien invasion or a zombie apocalypse?
And suicide is not an option.
Not
here.
an option. You
Okay.
got to try to survive.
I'm not allowed to ask any follow-up questions here, so I have to choose A or B.
You can ask some clarifying questions.
What genre of aliens are we talking here? Like Alien the movie aliens, or like something a little bit more mercurial, like Arrival? Like what
Let's
brand
just
of
go
alien?
with something technologically advanced and bent on, destroying the human race.
Okay, I mean, I'm gonna go zombie here. I feel like, just based on my experience being in the band that I'm in, like I could review some of Kyle's lyrics to get like some pointers on what I'm supposed to be doing at any given moment, but I feel like I'm kind of screwed either way. I mean, I don't exactly trust any of my survival instincts, so it's not looking good for me in either outcome, but I guess I'm gonna go with zombie apocalypse.
Zombie apocalypse. Okay, here's some tips. Use a bike, not a car, because they're quiet.
Okay.
Have a bat with you because you don't need to reload it, and gunshots, attract the zombies. Cities are dangerous at the beginning, but safe years down the road when everything has vacated.
I'm not gonna make it years.
The country is safe in the beginning, but dangerous years down the road. You're gonna make it because I just gave you those tips.
Okay, thank you. I can't wait.
Don't ask me why I know these things.
My lips are sealed.
Well, everybody, it was great talking to you, Alex. You are always a delight, and
Thanks.
I am stoked to talk to you again because it's going to happen again, and I'm stoked to see you perform tonight. Is there anything else that you want to shout out to all of the people watching this right now?
Thanks for listening to Undeath. Thanks for supporting us. It's been a crazy year, and appreciate all of the love and hype that you've given us and our albums, because we have that live album too. Keep listening to death metal, I guess. I don't know. I'm not exactly the person that should be giving advice to anybody.
My advice, go buy their albums if
Yeah,
you
that
haven't
too.
done it already. There's some sick vinyl variants available still, so go grab those. Show them love.
And grab us here too.
Oh yeah, he is. He is. And go follow Alex on Twitter because it's a good chuckle. And it'll embarrass him a little bit. So do it.
Yeah, please.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And everybody, until next time.